You're listening to the Creator Mindset Podcast, episode number 6.
Welcome to the Creator Mindset Podcast, where artists, performers, and entrepreneurs share knowledge that will kick off your career and take you to the next level. Turn your vision into reality with your host, Ariane Lianza Hines.
In this episode, Arika Kane shares her story from being a young artist full of hopes, dreams, and a vision, to how she got signed by a label, how to take one step at a time with your career, how to brand yourself as an artist, and how to keep your integrity and still be successful. I also created a 7-video series just for you, where I share my 7 most valuable steps to keep shining with your voice. I call it the 7 keys. You can download it at arianelianzahines.com/6. And now, Arika Kane. Songwriter, producer, recording artist, and visionary, Arika Kane has pioneered the way for independent artists by showing them they can break through with integrity. Her accomplishments include over 10 Billboard charting songs and over 70 television music placements with the Viacom network, including multiple features and 2 theme songs on the 2 reality television series. Kane takes pride in her music, carrying inspiring messages that empower and uplift. As an artist, you are a creator, which means you have the power, impact how others feel based upon what your heart projects, so I choose to make that a positive experience. Welcome, Arika.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be on your podcast.
Yes, I'm so excited you are. Arika and we are friends since 2010 when Arika connected with me for some vocal lessons to get some strengthening of her vocals before recording one of her singles. And since then, we've been following each other, writing to each other, always being supportive of each other. And I really do appreciate this friendship. So thank you so much for being on the Creator Mindset Podcast today.
Oh, and I love the name of it too. I love the name of it. That's great.
Yeah, I see that in your little, in your quote there, you also use the name creator. For me, all artists are creator. We all are creators of our lives, of our art. So yes, let's make it a positive experience. I could not agree more. So we could talk about producing, songwriting. We can talk about the musician's craft and all of this. And that could be another episode. But today I would like to talk with you about the business side of music. And can you tell us about your experience in the music business and how you have expanded your wings within the business outside of being an artist?
Well, when I first began, my love for singing obviously started when I was really young, and all the way through school and the beginning of college, I just realized, this is my passion. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to do, I choose music. That's what I want to be a recording artist. So I supported myself as financially, I worked numerous jobs to pay for studio time, and I didn't even know anything about any part of the business other than that I loved music and I wanted to sing and be a recording artist. And so I just was following that passion and was hoping to connect with the right people, and it took some time because there's a lot of people out there that want to take advantage of your passion. So I really had to discern when I was, who I was connecting with and make sure they had my best interest. So that was a whole nother, learning experience on its own. But so I followed my passion, and I eventually got connected with a record label, independent record label, and they're called BSC Recordings. And so my first album that was released in 2010, which was right when I met you, around the time I met you and started taking some vocal lessons, I was still in that place. I just wanted to sing. I wanted to perform. I wanted to be the best at my craft. And I didn't know anything else about the business at all. Luckily, my label was very educated in their experience in the music industry. So they were able to start, the teaching process. And I was able to start the learning process of all the different aspects of the music industry. But at the same time, we both learned together a whole nother level of the music industry. So then we started, our own learning process as a team, as an artist and a label. And so basically, I learned the hard way. I mean, there's so many things that go on in the industry that you just have no knowledge of, and it's like you learn step by step. You want a the right PR team to make sure you get the right exposure. You want to have a lawyer, to take care of all of your legal stuff, because people will take advantage of you in those ways as well. You want to have the right manager that's getting opportunities for you and able to make you money. And so there's just so many different aspects other than just, the singing and the performing that I learned. And I started to become part of the process of the label because I was so passionate about my career. And so now, 2017, not only am I an artist on the label, I'm now a part owner of the label, and I'm an A&R for the other artists that come on the label. I work on the promotions and marketing end of the label, and I'm also a writer and producer for the label. So I've come a long way after my three album releases since 2010, and all the experience that has come with it. So it's been interesting.
Wow, yeah, you've done now the whole tour, the 360 degrees of the business.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And I went from being very, very extremely naive to, seeing through everything. Like, my intuition now is just like, I know when somebody has, doesn't have the right agenda, and because there's a lot of that in the business, and that's what I really want to express to young artists, because I had no idea. I mean, like I said, I just wanted to perfect my craft and do what I love. And once you really get deep in the music business, the business part of it, they don't care about that. They want to take from you that, it's what they can get out of you. Nobody's protecting you. So I guess that's what I want the young artists to know, to really surround yourself with a team of people that you can trust.
So now you're working, as you said, on A&R. So you're choosing artists, you work with them, then you do the marketing. What the process look like?
Well, we just signed, my label BSC just signed 2 new artists. One's a hip-hop female artist, and the other's an R&B male singer. And it's been quite a process to find artists, and the right artists in general, because there were a lot of artists who submitted their music to us, over the years, and we've attempted to sign them, and they just didn't have their, to be blunt, their head on straight. They just, because unfortunately the picture that is painted about the music business, on television is just not what it is in reality. Everything's an investment. Everything is a process. Everything is such hard work. And, a lot of young artists see on TV, oh, you get signed and you get millions of dollars and you don't have to do anything but, hop in a limo and go to your performance. And it's just not like that, especially now. The music industry has changed so much. So we were fortunate enough to align with two artists that are very much humble and are willing to, work hard and understand the music business. And it's been really cool. I work with them on the creative aspect as far as producing, writing, what song, what single to come out with, their future projects. And I also work on the promotional aspect and the marketing, branding, branding their name, getting their name out there. So in a repetitive way, so people, if they hear their song on the radio, oh, I've heard that before, or I've seen that on social media. There's so much out there nowadays online, so it's like you have to really be consistent with getting your project out there. And from my career, I've learned a lot, from my own experiences of branding myself and my music, that I'm able to, do that for other artists, because it's, it's a process. You can't just come out with a whole album and nobody knows who you are. You can do anything you want as an artist. I'm just speaking of if you want to break through and get, a large amount of exposure on a big worldwide scale, you have to start small. What's your artist name? What's the vibe that you want to put out there? What's the image? And you just have to just be repetitive and consistent and get that out there and pick one song that people can get to know you by. And and that's how you build your fan base, and you put it out there and you leave that song out there for a while, so people will eventually come to you and be like, well, I look forward to what you're doing next. So that's basically, what I bring to the label and the artists.
So what are the criteria, I was going to say, upon which you chose those two artists?
The hip-hop female artist, her name is T-Bars. She actually contacted the label. She was somebody who submitted a song for us to hear, and not all the time is it do we actually have the time to really focus in and listen, because we're just busy a lot, but we try to sit down when we can and go through whatever it is we missed. And interestingly enough, we put out there on social media that our label is looking for a female hip-hop artist, and she didn't even know that was out there, and she reached out to us, and it was just captivating. Her presence on the music, just she was just her sound, it was just undeniably talented, and it was like this is exactly the type of talent we're looking for in the hip hop genre. And there aren't a lot of female hip hop artists on the mainstream level. There's only a couple, so the demand is really big. So we that's why we put it out there that that's what we're looking for, because we knew that it would be very easy to, to fill that void. And so when we talked to her after, she was just so humble and like, I've been waiting for somebody to really listen to me and understand my talent, and, I'm a hard worker, and, I want to learn the business. I want to, be a great artist. And so it just really, melded together, and we just put out our first single, and it's number 2 on the U.S. hip hop charts. So it's doing very well. Yeah, she's doing very well. So we're excited about it.
That's amazing. So the criteria was, of course, talent. That's obvious. And then the fact that she was humble and hard worker, that she wanted to learn.
Exactly. Yes. She wasn't starstruck, right? There's that term, starstruck. A lot of people who, everybody has their moments, but as an artist, you want to, embrace the fact that you are a star, right? So you don't want to be overwhelmed by the hype, so to speak, or what's out there, or the industry. So in order to do that, you first have to, be humble enough to learn, to learn the business, because there's a lot of artists that we have came in contact with that they're just, they just want to do what the stars do, and it's just like it's a process. Like it doesn't, it doesn't just happen like that. So yeah, definitely.
How did you go through the process of branding her? Because I talk about branding with all the artists I work with, but I would like to see your viewpoint on that. That's very interesting for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so image is important. The vibe that you want to put out there, like, so we did a photo shoot on her, and like her first round of pictures, to represent who she is, the introduction of, I'm T-Bars, this is who I am. And then you pick one of those pictures out of, usually in photo shoots, there's, hundreds. And it's a process to go through them all, and then you pick one that's like, okay, this is her vibe, this is her attitude, this is her personality. And you come up with, the font of what you want to be, what your name is, or what your artist name is. And even though it's so, those two things sound so simple, it's actually so important, because if you are performing and you have these flyers and you have these promotional things going out all the time, and your name is in all these different fonts, and there's all, you put up 3 different pictures, or 4 or 5 different pictures out there, people are overwhelmed these days anyways, because everybody's multitasking, and it's even hard for someone, to get someone to press play on, you put on an actual song on social media, and people don't even have the time to press play. So, the patience level is really low these days, because there's so much going on in the world every day. So people aren't going to put together that is you. That was you on all those promotional things and all those events. They're going to think it's just all these different people and all these different promotions. But if you keep the style of what your name, the font, and the one picture in everything, people, their brains will register like, oh, I've seen her before. Oh, I've seen that name before. I'm going to go check out her music because, this is obviously something that's really out there. So that's basically the strategy of the beginning. And then when they put out their single, it's the artwork of the single that you want constantly, repeated out there, in blogs, in magazines, in online press releases, in every way possible. And so, I mean, that's the online digital world of my example of that. Since we live in a digital world these days.
Yeah.
So that's the starting process.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. What misconceptions of the music industry artists may not know about from the outside? Can you tell us about that?
Everything? No. Well, number one, okay, all these extremely famous stars that, are all over TV and radio and everything every day, their lives are not what it looks like, okay? So, like, because I've seen a lot and I've been connected in the industry for a while and know many people in the industry, and the whole smoke and mirrors of the entertainment in Hollywood, it is just not the reality of what it is. Like I said before, when you're young and you just love music and you want to be an artist, you don't really pay attention to, the signals of, what's wrong in the music industry and what, you just don't know that until you actually get in there, and then you say, wow, like, do I really want to, get to that level of fame? Because there's a difference between fame and success, right? So that's especially nowadays, there's so many celebrities who have acquired this extreme fame, but they don't have any accomplishments, right? There's nothing there to support that fame. It's like they, they're indoctrinated into these famous families, and all of a sudden, you can't get away from them on anything, social media, and it's like, so
and like you said, they haven't accomplished anything. Most of them. Some might have accomplished something, but most of them don't have accomplished anything from those families that you're referring to, for example. Yeah. And then it's like an idea of what it could be for some people. They're indoctrinated, like you said.
Exactly. And so there's this idolizing and this worshiping of these celebrities who are just happen to be, related to the other celebrities. And so the young generation is like, well, I guess I could just never be like them because I'm not one of them, right? Like,
it's like royalty.
Yeah. And they feed off of that because they love to put out there that, like, yeah, you'll never be this famous type of vibe. That's a vibe they put out there. And what really bothers me is, when these women who are celebrities, keep buying their body parts, and all of a sudden they look like, they have all these fake body parts, and they don't even look like a normal woman anymore. And then they want to talk about women's empowerment and feminism. It's like, excuse me, like you you have to empower yourself before you put out that type of message. And then these young girls are like, well, I'm never going to look like that. That's never going to, my body doesn't look like that. And it's like they love that and they feed off of that. And, so, back to my point, I was kind of rambling there. Back to my point is, I get really passionate when it comes to, empowering women and all the falsehoods that are going on. But yeah, so my point is there's levels of fame, and then there's success. And I have chosen success. I have been given the opportunity to be famous. I've been offered many very huge major record deals, major offers with significant amount of money, major opportunities since I started as a recording artist. And I've turned most of them down because what they wanted in return is something I wasn't willing to give up. And as a woman, to me, I feel like my job is to show the young women that you can be successful and keep your integrity and not sell your soul and not sell your body and not sell an image that isn't you. And I was able to get a lot of accomplishments throughout my career. Like you stated, I've had over 10 songs in Billboard. I've had over 70 placements on television with my music, theme songs on television shows. I was fortunate enough to work with some great artists, including Brian McKnight, which I wrote and produced for him. So, I'd rather take the accomplishments and continue my path of success and, keep my integrity as a woman and as an artist and keep my creativity versus, be famous for the whole world to see every day, all day, and not stand for anything. So that's what I choose, and that's what I want the message for me to, fall on other young girls.
So that's one of the misconceptions. Is there other ones?
Just the illusion of the entertainment industry, and that it takes, it just takes talent. You just have to be talented, and that's all that it is. It's not what it is, because I'm very talented, and I know hundreds of artists that are extremely talented that weren't able to get the exposure that they wanted, so they continuously work towards getting their music out there and doing what they love, because it's just not what it seems, right? The industry is not what it seems. So what you want to do is continue to do what you love and trust that the right opportunities, will reveal themselves to you, and you'll be able to move forward in your career and gain all the accomplishments that you want. So you get what you put out there. If you put out there that all you want to do is be famous, then those opportunities will show themselves. If you put out there that, I want people to hear my music and be moved by my music, and even if only one person hears my song, that's enough to make me happy today. If I'm able to help somebody go through something in their life with my music, that makes me happy. So it's just kind of like what level you want to be at, and what's most important to you, your music and your impact on the world, or, fame.
So, could you tell us 3 or 4 most important lessons you learned along the way from a young artist now?
Number 1, I've learned to trust my intuition with every situation that arrives. Is it beneficial to me? Is it beneficial to my fans? Is it something that's going to represent who I am? Is there an agenda behind it? Are they just trying to make money off me, and I am I being used here? So trusting your intuition is important. Hiring a consultant is a little tricky because I did in the beginning of my career, and it turned really bad because a consultant, if you don't know much, right? Sometimes somebody who knows so much in the industry will kind of take advantage of that and be like, well, they don't know, let's say that it costs this much money and it really only costs this much, and they won't know the difference. And so things like that, if you're naive to the business, talk to somebody who's experienced in the business before you make, big decisions. Because if I could go back in time, that's what I would have done. I would have tried to find people, even if it's art. Artists are a good team of people to talk to, because they're the ones who, have been through it. They're the ones who I know you see all the behind the music and later on in life, and look what these major companies have done to these poor artists, who are bankrupt and have no money, and they can't move on with their careers. So talking to artists who've been in the industry for a certain amount of time is a great schooling, because you'll learn, what contract not to sign, and who to align yourself with, and things like that. So I would say those 2 things. Because back in the day, I know that, Hollywood was selling the dream, right? So don't worry about what the contract says. You're going to be rich and famous here. Just sign on the dotted line. Don't worry about nothing. And look what has happened to so many stars, from years ago that are now, in trouble in more ways than one. They've turned to drugs, or, they have no money and things, and all the hard work that they did. So, I think now with the new generations that have come in, it's not so much like that. It's shifted. It's like, we're getting smart, right? Like, we're not just going to sign. We're not just going to fall for, okay, don't worry about a thing, So definitely have a lawyer, and hire a manager that can get you opportunities, so you can get your name out there and your music out there. Before, so when a label does come to you, you have power, right? You can say, well, I've done A, B, C, and D, and, I can continue to do things, without you. Unfortunately, you got to play that power game, because if not, a label will be like, well, you need us, you don't have anything going on. You need us to sign. So they may, try to make the contract into something that isn't what you want. So definitely do as much as you can as an artist on your own, so you have that you have that power behind you, and that's really important. And another thing with that is, as an artist, you should feel powerful. I think that's another misconception that goes on in the industry, that the artist is just the artist, and the producer is important, and everybody else in the process is the number one thing. Well, without the artist, there isn't anything, right? So as an artist, you have to know that you are powerful, and you have to address every situation as if you know that you are powerful, and you are the pilot that drives the plane. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned, because I've dealt with so many situations where I've been treated, oh, well, she's just the artist, and it's like, excuse me, like if there wasn't any artists in the world, none of you would be making any sort of money. So know your power, and build your team, and do as much as you can on your own. Therefore, when a label does come to you, you have the respect, you have the juice, you have everything you need in place, and therefore it'll make somebody do the right thing.
Do you record? Are you recording something right now? Do you have a latest single?
I am coming out with a single on November 6th, and it's actually a secret.
Oh, okay.
It's a surprise and a secret. I've never done secrets before, because it's a remake. It's a retro remake of a song from the 60s, and it's amazing. It's soulful, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's going to be a huge project. I'm doing a video for it as we speak, but I'm keeping it a secret until the actual release date. So November 6th.
You guys go check out the single. And what's the title?
It's called Love Makes a Woman.
Love Makes a Woman. And I'll put, of course, the YouTube video and the iTunes or the links in the show notes of this episode.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah,
great.
Of course. Thank you so much for being with me, Arika.
Oh my God, thank you. I hope I didn't talk you to death. See, I get so passionate about all my experiences. So thank you for giving me the outlet.
Of course, I am always very grateful to talk with artists who are in the industry so they can actually share the knowledge with the other young artists. We need openness and transparency in this industry. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for being on the Creator Mindset podcast.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Yeah, till later. Bye.
Alrighty, bye.
As the host of the Creator Mindset podcast, I am blessed with interviewing all of these amazing artists and coaches. What I find successful people have in common is their mindset. The fact that they take actions and do not let their inner demons run their lives. They surround themselves with like-minded people, and they are in a mastermind. If you're curious about knowing what a mastermind is, join us on December 9th for a live mastermind online. You can sign up at www.arianeleanzaheinz.com/6. There, you'll also find the show notes of this episode and all the link to get in touch with Arika Kane and buy her a brand new single. If you like this episode, share, subscribe, and give us a review on iTunes. We really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye until next time.
Thank you for listening to the Creator Mindset podcast at www.arianeleanzaheinz.com.